What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ace. This is Fantasize Football. We back. Welcome back. I'm here today again with some more fantasy football content for y'all. And today is Sunday. We're bringing y'all something a little different. Don't usually do videos on Sunday, but there's something I feel the need I need to talk about, making a big noise in the fantasy football community, in the world of sports, in the world of football, and that is Julio Jones and the trade rumors. So today what we're going to be talking about is my favorite landing spots for Julio Jones for fantasy football in 2021. But before we get into those, real quick, make sure y'all follow me on my socials. Links down in the description. But anyways, so what had happened was Julio's been rumored to want to get out of Atlanta, right? And then Shannon Sharpe calls him up on live TV. And I don't know if Julio knew he was on camera or if he was live or whatever. I have no idea. Julio's never been one to really make any publicity stunts in his career, so who knows, but that's kind of beside the point. He said, I'm out, right? So to me, everything was rumors until it was confirmed from the source. And now Julio said it himself, so we got to address this. We got to look into it. So today, we're going to be talking about my favorite landing spots for Julio Jones for fantasy football in 2021. But I did want to quickly mention that in a perfect world, Julio kind of patches things up with the guys in Atlanta, with the coaching staff, with whoever it needs to be patched up with, and sticks around in Atlanta. And that's for a few reasons, man. And number one is because it would just be weird seeing Julio in any jersey other than an Atlanta Falcons jersey. He's been there his whole career, and I don't know how to feel about that. But on top of that, it's like the Falcons are one of the best teams to be on for fantasy as a pass catcher and for real football, because Matt Ryan kind of floats around the top of the league in pass attempts year in and year out. They're a high-scoring offense. Matt Ryan is a above-average quarterback, to say the least. I think Matt Ryan is pretty good, personally, in my humble opinion. But, yeah, man, so there's plenty of opportunity to go around, plenty of scoring opportunity. So, in a perfect world, Julio, stick around in Atlanta, man. I mean, my opinion don't mean much, but I would love that for fantasy football in 2021. I think it's the best case scenario, but we got to talk about this. So let's get into number one favorite landing spot for Julio Jones if he were to be traded, and that's going to be the LA Chargers, right? And the reason why I like this so much is because, for one, Hunter Henry's out, right? Jared Cook comes in and replaces him. The number one option in the passing game is Keenan Allen. So I see Julio coming in, kind of a 1A, 1B type of situation with Keenan Allen. Who's the 1A, who's the 1B? Doesn't really matter. They have completely different play styles. I think this will kind of affect Mike Williams more than it would Keenan Allen, if anything. But anyways, I think this is a good spot for him. There's not too much competition with targets. Obviously, you have Eckler. They have Mike Williams, like I mentioned, and then they drafted rookie Josh Palmer. But other than that, I mean, none of those guys that I mentioned, I mean, Eckler out of the backfield isn't really going to affect Julio. And then him and Keenan Allen, I'm sure, could coexist. But then on top of that, this team is just a high-scoring offense. It's a high-octane offense. We saw it last year with Justin Herbert breaking all rookie records. The man was a beast. And segue from that right into Justin Herbert, man. And there is a new coaching staff in LA. And historically, that hasn't worked very well for sophomore quarterbacks. But like I mentioned, just like he broke records last season as a rookie, I expect that Justin Herbert could break that trend as a sophomore quarterback with a new coaching staff, especially if he were to get a receiver of Julio Jones's caliber in there with Keenan Allen, with Austin Eckler, with Jared Cook, Mike Williams. Hopefully Josh Palmer pans out. And I think that Herbert, this would at least offset any issues that may come with a coaching staff change, and I think he could be as good, if not better, than he was last season as a rookie in his sophomore year with the Chargers. So that's my number one favorite spot. I think this is the place that would be closest to his production for fantasy, for like in terms of the Falcons, then the Chargers. It would be the closest for his fantasy value. But let's move on to number two, and that is the Indianapolis Colts. And I like this because Julio would come into the Colts, right, and right away be the number one target. You have Michael Pittman, second-year player, an aging T.Y. Hilton, Paris Campbell, and then, like Jonathan Taylor, Naeem Hines. No one that's really going to overtake Julio Jones as the number one option. So he comes in right away into a team with a good offensive line, a good run game, can set up play action well for him with plenty of opportunity. And the big elephant in the room, the big thing that makes this kind of polarizing, excuse me, is Carson Wentz, right? So Carson Wentz obviously struggled badly last season in Philly, but he's reunited with Frank Reich, where in the past he has had MVP-esque seasons, MVP quality seasons. So I think if Carson Wentz can kind of get it together, pull it together, then this could be a very good offense. They have a good defense, a good line, a good running game. Like I said, set up the play action well for Julio and all the other receivers. And then I think also Julio could obviously help Carson Wentz get his career back on track. When you have a target like Julio Jones, you have one of the best receivers in the league, in the history of the league, in Julio Jones. That's going to help out any quarterback and kind of get Carson Wentz, get him going, get him back on track. So I like this for the Colts. Obviously, it has a lot to do with Carson Wentz being able to get back on track. But he comes in, number one option in the offense right away. Good team, good run game, good defense, good offensive line. I like it, man. I don't like it as much as the Chargers, but I think it would be a good fit. And then moving on to our third and final team for my favorite landing spot for Julio Jones in fantasy football for 2021 is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders, formerly the Oakland Raiders. And again, a reason why I like this a lot is because Julio would come in and again be the number one option on the team. There is a path to 130 plus targets here like there is with the Colts. And Darren Waller has been the number one option on this team. I know a lot of you guys are thinking that, and I love Darren Waller. But I think Darren Waller has been the number one option on this team these past couple seasons, more out of necessity than really like that's their game plan and that's what they want. Obviously, last year, Henry Ruggs didn't really pan out, their first-round pick. And the opportunities he got, he wasn't that very successful. He didn't get many opportunities as it is. And I do expect him to take a step forward. But Julio comes in right away. He's the number one option. John Brown's not going to supersede Julio. Neither is Henry Ruggs or Brian Edwards, anyone like that. So he's got that path to targets. And then the Raiders were a bottom dwelling team on the defensive end last season, and they did make some additions. I do expect them to be a bit better, but I don't expect them to all of a sudden hop up to be one of the top defensive teams in the league. Probably not even a top 15 team, a top half of the league team. So they're going to need to score the ball in order to be competitive. So they're going to probably be in a lot of game scripts that call for them to throw the ball a lot. Probably a lot of close games where they're down a score, two scores, where they need to throw the ball late in the game to try to take the lead and then in turn be competitive, make a playoff push, all that good stuff. But last and not least about the Raiders, I personally, in my humble opinion, think that Derek Carr is one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the league. He's thrown for 4,000 yards each of the past 3 seasons with not the greatest cast and crew. Every year over 7.5 yards per attempt on average over these past 3 years, over 7.5 yards per attempt. So he doesn't have a problem moving the ball downfield, doesn't have a problem, getting the team into positions where they can score. And I think Julio Jones would not only help him, but I think Derek Carr would be a good fit with Julio for Julio as well and his fantasy value. So that's what I got for y'all today. Those are the 3 teams that, for me, for fantasy football in 2021, would be my favorite landing spots for Julio Jones. And quickly, let's just recap. It was the LA Chargers, where it would be him and Keenan Allen as the 1A, 1B on an ascending team with a great quarterback that's going into his sophomore season that should have an improved defense as well. Nice path to targets as well. And then the Colts, again, a place where I think he would be the number one option. Good defense, good overall team, good offensive line. Like I said, the number one target and a strong run game, open up the play action. And then we have the Raiders where, again, he comes in. He's the number one option. I like Derek Carr. I think this team's going to have to throw the ball a lot. So a lot of passing opportunity, a lot of opportunity for Julio Jones. So those are my 3 favorite landing spots for Julio Jones for fantasy football in 2021. But let me know down in the comments, y'all, what are your favorite landing spots for Julio Jones for fantasy football and for real football? I've seen them linked to all these teams, the Patriots, a few other teams as well. So let me know down below what you think. And if you like the video, make sure you leave a like. If you're listening on Spotify or on Google Podcasts, make sure you come over, hop on to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Or if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet and you're enjoying the content, please subscribe to the channel, man. It really helps. Help me hit my goal of 100 subscribers by the end of the 2021 football season. I would really appreciate that. And once again, thank you all for coming by, spending a little time with the young boy. It really means the world to me. Seriously, I can't put into words how much I appreciate all the love and support. And with all that out of the way, as always, thank you, love you, peace.